Good afternoon. It is 4 o'clock, October 26, 2023. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Harlan Municipal Utilities Board of Trustees to order. We start with an approval of the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Shelton, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Seibert, aye.
Hammer, aye.
And item number 3 is the approval of the consent agenda. It includes the minutes of the October 12th board meeting, minutes of the special October 17th board meeting, abstract of claims number 1246 in the amount of $612,787, and the upcoming board meetings. November 9th will be an electronic board meeting, and November 21st, that's early because of the Thanksgiving holiday board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Shelton, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Seibert, aye.
Hammer, aye.
Okay, item number 4, the approval of the facilities reimbursement agreement with Northern Natural Gas and the estimated cost of $784,286. This is the first phase of the project pending legal review.
Yes, we talked a little bit, or I brought this up, I think, last month's meeting, and then also met with the gas committee after that. Basically, how I explained the last time, the first phase is just to take care of modifications to our town border station for the natural gas. This would get us in position then to be able to go out for a open season to try to get additional capacity on our line coming in to town. About 500 to 1,000 decatherms is what we could potentially get with the improvements. The entire project is estimated at about 5.6 million, but there again, as I mentioned last meeting, that's based on if we go out to open season, if there's anybody else on our branch line that needs additional capacity, they would also have money in that project too, which would lessen that overall amount for us, or for HMU.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yep, it does. I'm actually on that committee. We discussed this at great length. The use of natural gas continues to rise, and our ability to provide it is getting lesser and lesser. This is an item that we've pushed out pretty much as far as we can, and we have to make a change. It seems like the obvious direction to go, and this was also recommended by our
Clayton Energy.
Mm-hmm. So the first stage is to upgrade the town border station, and after a lot of conversation, the committee certainly recommends this. So.
And the only thing that legal counsel didn't like was that it said state of Nebraska, so he said to ask if they would change it to Iowa, but if they won't, he said it's still okay.
Okay. So I'd be looking for, well, any other questions, of course.
Yeah, so just one question. So I do look at your CFO report under gas. Is this going to lead to an expected increased cost, or is this coming out of organic funding? Or an increased rate?
No increased rate at this time. There is some money we're setting aside for future expansion, 50 cents per, or I guess it was 5 cents per CCF. That's going towards that. I mean, of course, we won't have that amount built up, but we started that fund with, otherwise it'd be coming out of savings or funds that are in hand.
I have no other questions.
Okay. So pending legal review, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Shelton, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Seibert, aye.
Hammer, aye.
Okay. And item number 5 is the approve the loan resolution for the raw water project. And see other sheet. That would be here.
That's just the actual title of the.
Please don't tell me I have to read all of this.
Yes,
The loan resolution to the Board of Directors, to the Municipal Water Utility of $2,644,000.
And this is just I guess we talked about this several times leading up. We had that initial amount that we were funding from USDA of the $5,364,000, I think it was. As the bids came in, we needed this additional $2,644,000 to cover that bid. Basically, we were initially going to try to fund that in-house with the inter-utility loan, but then did turn back around. USDA did allow us to go after some additional loan funding through the USDA at a much lower rate than what it would have been with the inter-utility loan.
So this is just another USDA loan?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll approve the loan resolution for the raw water project.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call.
Sheldon, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Seibert, aye.
Hammer, aye.
Okay, it is the time and place for the public hearing not to exceed $2,644,000 water capital loan notes. Were there any written objections?
No.
Were there any oral objections?
No, I think there is. I think everybody does.
Okay.
And nobody online is either.
Okay, and the time for receiving oral and written objections is closed. And item number 7 is to approve the resolution instituting procedures to take additional action for the authorization of a loan agreement and the issuance of a not to exceed $2,644,000 water revenue capital loan notes.
Did we already do that, or do we have to
Well,
do
we
it
gotta do
again?
it again. This is the
Okay.
3 process.
I'll make that motion to approve the resolution instituting proceedings to take the loan agreement
Okay.
for the not to exceed $2,644,000.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Sheldon, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Seibert, aye.
Hammer, aye.
Okay.
Just to be clear, the first one was required by USDA. The last one was required by the attorneys.
Okay.
Got it.
And the same thing on that, I mean, we did talk to the local banks who were borrowing that first $5 million, and that was a combination of Shelby County, State Bank, Mid-States, and Farmers. They are working with us also on this additional interim loan for that additional amount also.
If I may, just as a quick refresher, general overview of where this money is going.
Yeah, just basically just to cover the bid. You know, as far as where the bids came in, once the scope changed a little bit through the process of design, when the initial amount was requested from USDA, and then also material prices by the time it got bid, and where the bids came in, we were over that initial letter of conditions amount once it was bid.
Thank you.
Okay.
I had one just general question. So have we ever sat down and said what the net impact, positive impact this will be? I'd asked a while ago of what the investment will produce as it relates to excess capacity, excess, how does that lead to excess or increased revenue? How does that, have we done that, or have we asked of the contractor to do that? In other words, what's our ROI that we tell the public that derives from this?
Yeah, I thought we did a two-page letter, taking and explaining what we were to get us caught up to where we needed to be, plus some additional, so that we don't, avoid future water washes and anything like this, and then be able to have excess water, abundance of water to be able to grow.
Right.
I mean, this first phase is catching us up where we need to be.
Yep.
And we're not done after this because, I mean, you know the history, you know, just things haven't been done. This is to get us going back up.
Yeah, so what I would ask is maybe just like we had a similar explanation with the gas a few minutes ago, that we have a similar bumper sticker, if you would, that for the water expenditures that we're making, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, not a problem. I
Okay.
think I know we did something here a while ago, and
Yeah, we did a 2-page newsletter on what the project entailed,
what it was and what
what it
was.
was going to do.
Yeah, and the infrastructure we're putting into, Jim, now allows us to add add additional wells in the future without much additional infrastructure or water main work. You know, everything will be out there. It'll be maybe some minor extensions to pick up additional wells.
Wasn't there some question that about us meeting even peak?
Correct.
Yeah.
We are, at that point, there's a, said we had to do something because we weren't able to, and this is going to allow us to meet those requirements set forth from that last sanitary survey or the letter that we got from them
Okay,
to this project.
that's what I thought.
Okay, moving on to item 8, approve notice to bidders and notice of public hearing on the proposed plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost for furnishing materials for the 23-24 conversion project.
Just approval documentation and setting the bid date for the materials only purchase for the last, I guess this would be our last phase of the overhead to underground electric conversion project. So then we should be setting very well, I guess, an electric department as far as everything underground that we can put under any improvements that we need to do with the distribution system.
Yeah, so is there a not, I guess, with the cost of labor, cost of material, and the actual, is there a point in which the board is going to say, this costs too much? Have we sat down and weighed that consideration? In other words, this is not a foregone conclusion, in my opinion. If this comes back in and it's going to cost us $6 million to bury last little bit of transmission, we need to prepare ourselves that whether that's a solid investment or not.
Yeah, I guess, look at that, Jim, also, I think the longer we hold off, the more it's going to probably cost. And I know what's left, I think, is in need of, if we don't do something with it, we need to at least probably reconstruct it overhead again. Because I think the overhead structures, poles are getting to the point where something needs to be done.
Yeah, especially the farm line going out west of town, it's hanging on by a string, and it just needs to get taken care of. And either we do it separate from this, or we go forth with it. Same way with finishing the rest of it, because we're that way for redundancy, for reliability. It all comes together with finishing, tying up the rest of the underground, overhead to underground. And that's the whole reason for starting the project ever, was for reliability.
What's the general geographic scope of the last project?
There's some on Industrial Avenue. There's a couple of, and then going up Utility Avenue, or down Utility, and then up Industrial, and then it'll cross over and then meet the farm line going west of town, up by Western Engineering, heading out that mile stretch going west. Then there's some transformers that were left that didn't get taken care of on any of the other overhead conversions that we gotta get taken care of.
And then there's cleanup uptown behind like the Sandwich Bowl.
Okay.
Back there, that alley was never, and it's pretty much a mess with vaults and old equipment in the ground.
Down in the vaults.
Yeah.
Have we gone to one standard voltage now? The voltage has all been taken care of, right?
Correct. It's all on standard voltage now. So.
Does this give us any excess capacity, or is it just about resiliency?
This is just getting us the resiliency for right now. We've been in talks about other things with getting more capacity, or when it's needed. There's different things that Joe and I looked at, worked on, but we haven't moved forward with that yet.
With that, I would entertain a motion to approve the notice to bidders.
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Shelton, aye?
Michelle, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Seibert, aye.
Hammer, aye.
Item number 9 is the Harlan Municipal Utilities Raw Water System Improvements, Section 1 through 4, change order number 4. This will, with a contract price of $114,000 for a test well for modification to planned well 35, shallow to deep well conversion.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit with the committee as far as trying to get some, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Resiliency on that also, to get into a deeper aquifer with this one well. Since I think we're looking at least a couple more years of dry weather, drought. So at least we're wanting to move forward with a test well before we would spend the final money on the actual production well to see if this deep well, we can get the quantity and the quality of water out of that deep well that we need. But this, I guess as far as this item, we are still waiting on approval of the change order from the USDA. So this will have to, I guess, table and then have it next month's meeting. We should have all the information and USDA approval at the next meeting.
Yeah, they actually just emailed today with some questions.
Some questions.
So that's
And I
why
think we
it's
got-
still on here.
Yeah, we had a Teams meeting with the engineer and with the USDA state engineer. We're all on the same page now. The engineer's just got to get some revised information to him. But like I said, then the contractor, well driller, said that it'd probably be end of December before he would have his equipment here to even do this test well. So we've got, like I said, we've got time for next month's meeting to approve.
Okay. We will table item number 9. Item number 10, the raw water system improvement sections 1 through 4, payment application number 3, in the amount of $363,963.
Yeah, just there again, an ongoing payment to McCarthy Trenching for work that has been completed to date on that raw water project.
Okay. You need an approval on that from the board?
Yeah, I think we usually did, didn't we,
Okay.
vote? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make that approval for the Harlan Municipal Utilities raw water system. The amount of $363,963.90.
I'll second what she just said.
Okay. Roll call vote.
Shelton, aye?
Michelle, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Seibert, aye.
Hammer, aye.
All right, item number 11
And
is,
if you guys don't want to see those payouts at the next meeting, you guys could vote that Joe can just approve those as they come in, but we've always just brought them to the
at
board.
363,000, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
So-
Yeah.
that's okay. I just couldn't get
I just wanted to
raw,
make sure that was what you were
raw
doing.
water, raw water.
Okay, the electric SCADA software contract in the amount of $9,142.
This is a yearly contract for software updates and support to resolve any problems with the software on our electric SCADA.
How does that compare to last year's price?
I have no idea because Don Dawson did it all.
Yeah, I think it was in with Don Dawson's pricing at that point.
Okay.
This is the new system, right?
Yeah, the new SCADA, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And how is it working?
It works most of the time.
That's not what I wanted to hear, because you were having a lot of problems with the old system, and so we put the new system in, and now you're still having problems?
It's.
Is it a
it's
learning?
incremental.
Is it a
No.
learning curve,
No.
or it's just,
No, it needs a complete workover, which, from start to finish, the stuff is older and had we had more information from, and knowing that the software wasn't fully capable to do what we needed to do, and Don's had to make everything work to get it to work. And it took him three months before he got it online to make it work right. But we still have issues where it stops working and we have to restart it. And then we lose that data, so we gotta go back and retrieve it, and it's still not perfect.
So we are, I guess we're looking into options
Yeah.
with it.
So it's a software contract, right? So it's a software as a service? Is that what we're paid
It's for
for?
the PME 2022, SCADA software.
Where we were running on 2008, I think, previously.
Right.
And so we bought a whole new we bought the computer system and everything from them, didn't we?
For the virtual server, yeah.
Yeah.
Virtual server plus the software.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not related to the price, it's more related to the service. I think there's probably a little bit of
Correct.
getting them in here to help fix what it
What's
is
going
that
on?
they
And it's
purchased
customer
from.
service,
Yep.
phone call. So,
Yeah, because if we're paying $9,000 for the software contract, I would kind of expect them to get the bugs worked out and make it work.
and
Not
that's
for
what-
a lack of calls
That's what
and-
Don's used them for, but
Mhm.
we've never done any calls to him ever, because Don's always done all that. So, but that's why when I got this phone call that, hey, it has to be renewed, I had no idea.
And he included this with his cost.
I think you can include it with his cost
We never paid
previously.
him separately.
And this was included into part of the pay for the last year's upgrade that I didn't realize it. Because it really doesn't state it, because I pulled out the old invoice, and it doesn't state in there that this is included, or that we would be a yearly contract that we're in now. So. But I think we need to keep
But,
this
yeah.
until we get further into,
So it's obviously not a budgeted item also because you didn't know you were gonna have it.
no idea. So, and I'm not sure how he built it out to us either, to be quite honest. I'm not sure how he built it out in the previous, if there was any support for the old system since it being the 2008 version. So I don't know if there even was a subscription to do that. I don't know.
But you have the money to cover this, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I make a motion, we approve the expense.
I'll second.
Roll call,
Sheldon, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Seibert, aye.
Hammer, aye.
Item 12, this sounds like more fun.
I know, that's what I was looking at.
All questioned out.
Business bids for customer celebration on December 12th. By the way, we're having a customer celebration on December 12th. We've received 2 bids by Pizza Ranch.
Yeah, we did hand deliver 3, but we just got 2 back from Pizza Ranch.
Okay.
He did not bid on it. They're the only other ones locally that we think can handle.
Staley's didn't bid?
Well, we bid local,
Okay.
so we just went
Oh.
within the city of Harlan.
Okay, gotcha.
So we thought those are the only 2 that we know of that could handle the job this big.
They have samples for us, right?
Yeah,
That's right, we should
it's
have
right up there on Court Street.
a vendor.
You can go up
I'll
there.
probably be there tonight, trust me.
Will there be dessert mixed in this? or-
And one of the reasons we do put this on our bid, or on our board meetings, is we're not required to because of the dollar limit, but since we do, the owners of the Pizza Ranch is also an employee, that's the only reason we have it, to show that we did go out for bids and we aren't just showing preferential treatment, so. It's still under the threshold of $6,000 that, where you have to go out for bids, but we still go out anyway.
All right.
I'll make a motion to,
Well, wait, what are you
But
gonna
we-
approve? What are we
Yeah,
gonna?
which one are we gonna do?
Yeah, we got meal 1 and meal 2 here.
well,
What do most people like?
Well, there's a $3,473 difference between the chicken and the pasta. So we assumed that you guys would approve the chicken.
What, we usually do have chicken, haven't we?
Yeah, last year we changed the menu.
Right, last year was
Yeah.
different, but before that it was chicken.
Yeah, and we get split. People say, we like the chicken, and people say, we want something different.
Yeah,
And the
'cause
only
what-
reason we were gonna do pasta was because there's a lot of chicken dinners around November, December out there, so we thought we'd try something different. But then when we got the quotes back, we figured
That's
we
fairly
would probably go
significant.
with
Yeah,
those.
so
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you, the board picking the meal is probably not an appropriate use of resources. I think what's before the board is the approval to go with this vendor, and then that's what the board should be doing. Does that make
That's fine.
sense? I don't.
that's
not-
fine. Like I said, the board doesn't even really have to approve this.
Right.
We just wanted to show that we did go out for the bids and.
Yep.
So you don't even actually need board action? Or
Well,
you're
you
just
don't-
requesting it?
We're just requesting it. But yeah, it doesn't even have to come to the board at all.
Well, since you did,
Yes.
we'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we approve Pizza Ranch since they're the only ones that bid.
I'll second that.
And roll call.
Shelton, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Seibert, aye.
Hammer eye.
All right.
Did we bid?
What time is this?
5 to 7.
Thank you, because I know, didn't we do it during the
We did
day?
it during the day last year, yep.
But we're gonna still be with Santa,
Yep.
Santa will still be there,
Okay.
like we had last year.
Did we, are we having chicken or pasta?
Chicken.
It doesn't matter.
We get to decide
Chicken.
later.
Yes.
Hope
You'll
it's
find
chicken.
out as it gets closer.
I hope it's chicken.
Okay.
Pancakes?
We're gonna flip a coin later.
Item 13, the committee report on the CEO performance evaluation. That committee was Michelle and myself. We met ahead of meeting with Joe, discussed a number of different items. We did not have a specific performance plan laid out for Joe for this last year. We looked over the previous CEO's performance plans, looked at some of the different things that Joe has worked on. During that meeting, we also created a new performance plan, which was a 10-item performance plan. After that meeting, we met with Joe. The committee found that his work to this point has been satisfactory and that he will receive the increase as specified in his contract. And for next year, we do have 10 specific items that we will look back on that we will be able to use for next year's review. They include completion of projects along with, the usual things you would expect, such as maintaining, the financials properly and that sort of thing. But some of them were leftovers from previous years, and we had some new ones. I do not have a copy of that. I emailed that to Jen, who
I just was looking at it.
okay, so
If any of the board.
if any other board members want to see it, we can get a copy from Jen. And it was probably the first time in a long, long time when Terry Aronson wasn't involved in creating those plans, so I did my best to try and duplicate what we've seen in the past. So the board certainly, I do believe the board has to approve the,
Yeah, it's based on a positive performance
Yeah.
evaluation. It was a grading scale of 1 to 3, and he did get a positive, so.
yeah, so the committee's recommendation is that we approve his increase,
Per contract.
yeah, per contract, so.
I'll
So-
make a motion that we approve his increase
Okay,
based on based on the committee's recommendation.
I'll second that.
okay, roll call.
Shelton, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Terrell, aye?
Seibert, aye.
Hammer eye.
Okay, we are on to information only. The treasurer's report for September.
Yeah, I don't know if you looked that over, if there's any questions, that I could forward on to Kurt, or if there is a copy there. Or if there's anything more you want to see, anything different.
I would like to sit down and talk to him about, or just schedule some time to talk to him about
Sure.
where his projections are.
Okay.
CEO's report.
Oh, yep.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Onward, 6 items.
Think about that chicken, aren't you?
Just wanted to get an update. I guess we talked a little bit about the raw water project already, but Donald, I mean, we all feel that it's going very well with McCarthy trenching. One well is drilled and tested, will be a good producer as far as when they pump test it. They pumped it 166 gallons a minute for 10 hours, and it held stable just above the top of the new screen, so it should be a good producer. We are waiting on results of the DNR's review on the new, we had that test holes that we did for the additional 2 wells in the south well field. That was change order number 3. We're waiting on results of their site survey. They did stop this week. Was it Monday he was here? Monday? Tuesday?
2 days ago, 2 days.
To look at where these potential sites are, where we did the well holes. And waiting to hear back from them as soon as they get us a green light. Verbally, they were okay with the sightings. So once we get the final word from the DNR, the contractor will start on those 2 sites as far as the final production well. Next item, Corey and Dylan completed their level 2 water treatment classes this month. Electric department was working on themselves getting rid of some overhead there going to the old yellow freight building east of the river along the highway there. There was some old overhead there, same thing. We had a couple poles, or at least one pole that was getting pretty bad shape, would have been replaced or not, but we used our own forces with our own equipment to bore underneath the highway there, so they're working at finishing that up. Exterior of the Cyclone Water Tower was power washed over the weekend. So if you go by there, take a look at that. That looks very nice. And then I'd like to remind our customers to complete their lead service line survey for water services. Survey is on our website under public notices. And then the information from that survey is required by the EPA. So it's something we have to do. And if our customers don't do it, we're going to have to expend some time to get into everybody's houses to finish that survey, so.
November 1's the day they're gonna start? Do you
Yep,
wanna
yep.
let people know
Yeah,
that?
November 1st is when we're gonna start. They're gonna do some shift changes, I guess, hour changes.
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
There'll be one person that'll start a little later in the morning, 11 to like 8, and then that way from like, they can go around, especially 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock at night, try to catch people at home and try to get those services done. So just to let the public know that that'll be starting November 1.
Is that gonna cost us, or no, that's not?
Yeah, because we're doing a shift change, we're on
Still
current
be
overtime, so
hours.
it's still the same amount of hours, it's just gonna be that I lose a gentleman for 4 hours a day.
If they get called out on a main break in the
Yes.
morning, then it'll be overtime.
Yep.
Yeah, I know we talked about this, the whole, and I can only say this because I snapped a picture, is how do we make sure that it's, we've asked kindly, right? And we've encouraged, we've even incentivized people participating in this, and yet we've had 0 or very low participation.
35 surveys.
35 surveys.
Yep, so there's gotta be nothing's free, right? And they're taking manpower away to do this, you don't have stuff there's gonna be stuff you're not doing. Did we talk to legal and say, is there a way to actually charge those homeowners that haven't taken upon themselves to comply with our request?
We haven't.
Our next step, if we can, is we'll start shutting the water off at the curb box until they call us and let us in and do the survey ourselves.
Yeah, I think there's gotta be an escalation thing. I think that is the ultimate escalation, which I hope we don't have to get to, but.
But charging them is not gonna get us the information that we're required to get.
Right, but it covers the expenses associated with getting that information.
Oh, since we have to come out to your house, you're gonna get charged.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a labor cost, right? It's a labor cost that's now being incurred or put upon the utility, the water department.
Yeah, and the other departments are helping. Yeah, meter department, you know, anytime they get into a home, we're having them do the survey, same way with telecom, if they get into a home, we're having them do the survey. Try to get them done.
So we have 35, that's it. How many homes do we have in Harlan?
2,400 and something.
Okay. We have 35. Now, even though this is EAP required,
EPA.
EP, I'm sorry, EPA, EPA required, can we charge them?
Yeah, we haven't checked with legal yet.
You don't have it.
And,
I for one would not be in favor of that.
We're also gonna try
That
to set up a
seems,
table with the celebration.
yeah, that seems rather
Introduce people.
adversarial with our customers, which I do not want to create that relationship, so I'm not in favor of charging.
No,
I
I'm
have to
not.
admit that I would hope that people would help, but then it occurred to me that I took the picture and didn't send it in. So I'm guilty, but I'm gonna get that fixed as soon as this meeting is over. So hopefully some people are watching that will remember that this does matter, and they'll look on their phone and realize they took the picture and forgot to send it in also, so.
And it really truly is a short survey. It doesn't take.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't take long. Yeah.
I went home after one of the meetings and I looked at my husband and said, "Did you do this?" And he said, "Do what?"
I mean, literally 3 minutes maybe?
Yeah.
No, it didn't take long at all.
Yeah, it's,
All right,
But
one more item, got 2 anniversaries for October. Frank Derby 1 year and Corey Town 1 year.
okay.
That's all I have.
All right, anybody else have anything for us? Item 16 is a possible close, or we,
yeah, we did
Okay,
get
okay.
a request for a closed session.
okay, possible closed session pursuant, possible closed section pursuant to Iowa Code.
Oh, I have that on there twice,
You
sorry.
do, to evaluate the professional competency of an individual whose appointment, hiring, performance, or discharge is being considered when necessary to prevent needless and irreparable injury to that individual's reputation, and that individual requests a closed session.
I make a motion, we go into closed session.
Second,
Roll call,
Sheldon, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Terrell, aye?
Second, I.
hammer eye.